Hey, it's Nick.
And Angela?
Whitney is not with us. We had to kick her out. She's got a coughing fit going on. So we'll
Yeah,
have her jump in
Whitney,
the
feel
comments.
better. Yeah, maybe you can be our assist behind the scenes. Let us know if we miss something or throw something in the comments, or if we reference an article or something, throw it up there.
So first bit we wanted to jump into is industry news. One thing that we saw recently was Snapbot at VidCon in LA, and Snapchat, now Snap Inc., has sunglasses where you can hit a button and take pictures in 10-second bursts. I'm not big on Snapchat. I don't use it well. Angela, maybe you do. I don't know. But they're a lot of fun. They're kind of stylish. Google Glass came out years ago, and there was kind of a creep factor because people didn't know when you were recording. So with Snap Spectacles, it has the light that shows whenever you have a recording in session. When they first launched Spectacles, you just had to be lucky and be in the right place at the right time. They had kiosks that would pop up in random cities. There was a website you could go to see notifications on where they were for that day, and people would line up around the block to get their Snapchat Spectacles. We got lucky and saw a Snapbot in the wild and picked some up at VidCon, but now anyone out there can also purchase Snapchat Spectacles through the website spectacles.com. So Dan, I think...
Yeah, I do have that.
Throw that up for a second.
Let me bring that up for you guys.
So they are a little pricey. It's $129. You could go to Walmart and get some $5 sunglasses, but they have the added benefit of taking video. It also shoots in a new format. It's a circle for the finished video. So if you're watching inside of Snapchat, it's really cool. I think if you scroll on that page, there's an example. Whether you're holding your phone vertically or horizontally,
yeah, I got that up.
The orientation for the video is always the same. If you go horizontal, there's a wider viewing angle. And it's a really cool experience. It emulates the way that we look at things. What's a little different about it is it's from your perspective. It's what you see in the world. Whereas I think a lot of content on Instagram and Facebook video in general will kick off with the camera on yourself, and so it's a different type of content. We've done some streams where we've used Snapchat video as a recorded piece, and when you export video from Snapchat, it shows as a white square with a circle inside of it, so you don't have the same viewing experience that you do in this example on their website. But you can repurpose that content. It has a very distinct look, and it's fun. So just wanted to let you all know that Spectacles are available online. You don't have to wait for a bot to pop up in a town near you. You can go over to spectacles.com.
Yeah.
Plus, they look really cool when you put them on, right?
Yeah.
Are they sunglasses too?
Yeah. I was able to test out a pair of Nick's. I love Snapchat. I'm always using it for something, and it's a little weird at first, but very quick to get used to. So it's like a normal pair of sunglasses, and it's got a little button on the left-hand side, and when you click it, you can faintly see a light blinking for 10 seconds, so you know when it's recording whatever you're looking at. After that, you just connect it to your phone with Bluetooth, and you're able to move that phone over and share it out with people. But it's very easy to start using. It's great for situations where you might want to be more stealthy and not have your phone out to do Snapchat, or situations where you can't. For example, I love seeing people do roller coaster videos. I am too afraid to hold my phone out on a roller coaster though.
Yep.
But with Snapchat Spectacles, I could easily have those on, press the button before a loop, and get some really cool videos. So they're definitely a great thing to have. I'm kind of jealous.
That's actually pretty awesome. If anyone has roller coaster footage from Snapchat, send it. Put in the link or in the comments. That'd be awesome.
Some other news.
Really quick before we do that, just a quick shout out to Fernando, who tuned in, said hey guys.
Hey, and Fernando.
Chase also jumping in the comments, saying live from the middle of nowhere. You know what, Chase? We're gonna talk about that in a little bit. So yeah, that's something cool coming up soon. But sorry, continuing on with more news.
So yeah, Spectacles. You can go to spectacles.com and grab a pair if you want to try them out. we don't make money on this. It's just a cool thing that you can check out. Facebook recently announced that they are building a group chat product. So in Facebook Live, you can now invite guests. So if someone's watching your stream and you're using the Facebook app, you can start a two-way conversation, kind of like you would see in Skype, or if you're doing a FaceTime call. And then that is broadcast and streamed for everyone else that is watching. So it's people that are in the comments, you can bring them in for bursts. They're working on a method to open that up where it could be more than one individual. So imagine 4 or 5 people having their own kind of town hall or conversation or hangout, and being able to stream that live where other people could tune into the conversation. There are some other platforms out there that help facilitate group conversations. One is Blue Jeans, another is BeLive.tv. You can do some of this through Google Hangouts, and previously through Hangouts on Air, push that into YouTube, but that integration is a little different now. So I think there is a gap in the market for a solution like this. Blab was a platform that was around a year or two ago that had a really cool group call feature. So it's exciting to see Facebook building a solution for this to help facilitate those types of conversations. We're going to see at the same time as everybody else. It's likely not available through the API, so we're going to be looking at some other ways to kind of check that box and give users like you and people that are using Switcher the ability to facilitate those types of conversations. But we'll be excited to see what Facebook rolls out. No news on when that'll be available, but hopefully sometime later this year.
Yeah. I'm also interested to see if they'll keep in the auto tagging for the one that's out right now, where you can bring in one other person from the comments. Nick actually a few weeks ago tested it out, brought me in at one point, brought a couple of other people in, and how we're always encouraging people, tag the person on your broadcast or tag their company, and that increases your exposure. It was auto tagging each one of us. So he didn't have to go back and add in, oh, I interviewed this person, this person, this person. It automatically tagged it, popped it up on my wall, and that way people on my feed could instantly jump into Nick's broadcast without him having to do everything.
That's why I saw comments from people I didn't recognize.
Yeah.
So as you bring people into the stream, it gets shared on their pages as well, which helps expand the audience. So keep your eyes out for that. Not really sure what they're going to call it yet, but we'll see.
We'll see.
The other one we wanted to talk about today is net neutrality. This is a really important one.
Yes.
Today is National Net Neutrality Day of Action, and big companies like Apple and Amazon have come together, and they are putting information on their website and on the web to help educate people about this and help them take action. For those of you that are maybe just now hearing about net neutrality, I don't know where you've been. It's a big deal, but it's a weird topic, and there's a lot involved in this domain. To kind of sum it up, internet service providers today are legally required to allow full access to any type of content. So if you're sending emails or playing games online or watching Netflix, all data is treated the same. And from a technology standpoint, that can be there can be bottlenecks, and there's perceived challenges in distributing that type of information to everybody in a moment's notice as fast as they want when you're pushing all of this information through the same tube. But there's also a more ethical concern about what happens when you start prioritizing different types of data. And there's also conversations of if this rule is reversed, that there could be a fast lane for the internet, and internet service providers could charge Netflix to have priority on your network, and that opens up a whole nother dialogue and conversation about what happens for newer companies that don't have the buying power to be able to get in that fast lane. Does it prevent new technology companies from being able to play at the same level and to move fast and do things in the marketplace? We've even seen people in the user group, the Switcher Studio enthusiast user group, post where they've had problems with the internet on cellular plans. If you've used whatever amount of data is on your plan, you may still have connection, but in some cases that data can be throttled. There are some instances and things in other countries where certain data is throttled, and it can have a big impact on creators and people that are streaming video for others to watch and using products like Switcher Studio. So this is something we feel very strongly about. We're not saying the other side is wrong, but from where we're at and what people are doing with Switcher, we would really like to see net neutrality to stick and stay where it is today, and to not roll that back. The FCC chairman that is now in place worked with Verizon previously, and understands some of the technical challenges, and they've made some good arguments for how net neutrality has been defined, and but I think from an ethical standpoint, it's really important that we keep this open. It's still the Wild West for the internet. We're in the early days still, and things change so fast. And was it in the 90s that people were sending emails and starting chat rooms and message boards, and now we can buy things online through Amazon, and we can watch videos without having to go to Blockbuster because they don't exist anymore.
R.I.P. Blockbuster.
The world has changed a lot, and it's because of the internet, and it's because, in my opinion, because there's been open access to different types of content. So if you like the way the internet is today, we would encourage you to learn more about net neutrality. What's the website that?
Yeah, there's some good sources here. Let me put up a picture-in-picture, and I can put that up there.
There's a lot of call to actions for some websites that are showing messages today as you visit them to encourage people to take action. Some of those will redirect you to the FCC website. John Oliver has an HBO show called Last Week Tonight. They have made a special domain that kind of walks you through that process, because there's a lot of clicks. They've made it really hard to get to the place that you need to submit.
The website that's up there now is battleforthenet.com, and they have right there on the right-hand side, you can just put your name in, your email, and they have a letter that you can send if you just want to send that, and if you want to do something more personalized, you can clear that out and put your own thing in, and that's going to send a letter directly to the FCC and do everything for you, which is, perfect.
So, and with this, it doesn't stop with just submitting an application to the FCC. Contact your congressman or congresswoman and let them know this is something you feel strongly about, because this is a really big topic that will have very lasting effects if it is changed. There are arguments that just because a fast lane is possible or internet service providers could throttle, that it's all hypothetical, and that it doesn't necessarily mean that's going to happen. But if the law changes and it's ambiguous enough, that's the standard that everything will be held to within this domain. And just because it doesn't happen next year doesn't mean it won't happen 5, 10, 15 years from now. So this sets a precedent for how we think about the internet and what is going to be possible on this medium. The FCC manages radio and television, and there are over-the-air channels that are open to the public that everyone can see, and the FCC has a lot of power in what those stations can and can't do. Net neutrality is one of the areas where the FCC does have some limited control over the internet. It's a weird utility.
I heard a really good analogy earlier today, and all the talk on today of for people who don't completely understand what net neutrality is. Right now, it's classified as a utility. So something like water. So like, let's say these same things a road. Like, so let's say these same conditions were going in for, say, water. Well, if this goes through, then it would be something like, you're not just going to be able to use water for everything for that price. Someone could be like, well, you need water to drink, so we're going to give that to you for this price. But, you want to use water to water your garden or water your yard?
Or take a shower.
Or take a shower. That's going to cost a little extra. Or you think about even like electricity, which is also utility. It's, okay, you need lights to stay on, so that's your base price. But, you want to charge your computer or you want to charge your phone, that's going to be a little bit extra. again, this is
Yeah.
hypothetical. What's going to happen?
That's a really good
but
analogy.
that's a good analogy I heard earlier today.
The one that, when everything first came to light about it, that really sold it for me, because I don't know why, just in the beginning I had a hard time kind of comprehending what exactly was going on. And I saw one to think of it like cable TV service. For instance, with ours that we have here in Louisville, our TV plans are in 3 different sections. You've got your basic cable, and then you've got like your extra channels, your more fun channels, and then you've got your premium service at the highest tier. And think of it as if the internet providers could choose what websites were in which tier. And if you didn't subscribe to the right tier, either you couldn't get that website, or it might load as slowly as dial-up or anything of that nature. And that just made a click immediately for me, where I'm like, I understand this now.
Yeah. And we're not experts. We don't know this inside and out. This is not legal advice, but I think this is something that affects our users and viewers of people that are creating content. Video uses a lot of bandwidth, and it's important that we have fair and accessible access to the internet. So if you want to take action, today is Net Neutrality Day. You're probably going to see some things online. Make sure to go to the website. Dan, if you can bring up that example real quick.
Yeah.
Fill it out. Submit that to the FCC. Pick up the phone. Call
There's
your
also tons of
congressman,
articles down
congresswoman.
here to tell you a little bit more about it as well.
Yeah. Fill out the form. Make phone calls. Let people know that this is something that you feel strongly about, if you feel strongly about it, because it matters and it'll have a big impact on how we use the internet moving forward. To lighten it up before we move off of this one, Dan, you want to throw to the gifts?
Yeah.
So of some of the campaigns that are out, there's a website that's taken gifts online, and they're making cheeky little jokes about these changes that could happen to the internet. I think there's one of Carlton from Fresh Prince.
Oh yeah, that's up there right now.
Yeah. There's another one of a truck just dozing a bunch of cars.
My favorite one I saw earlier, talking about what internet should be, and it was from Mean Girls. It was Lindsay Lohan going, "There is no limit. The limit does not exist. The limit doesn't exist," as what it should be. So, yeah, lots of people organizing around this issue.
All right, so I think that's a wrap. One last time, Dan, can you read off the website?
Yeah, that's battleforthenet.com.
Yeah. All right. So, moving on to strategy. We recently had a post go up about spontaneous video production and always being ready to go live. I'm going to back this up for a second.
Hey, yeah, before we do it, we got a couple more shout-outs. We had Mike says, "Hi, all." Dr. Frank, hello from South Africa. Hello.
Hey.
And someone from Montreal, Mark Andre. It's cool. I love seeing people from all
different
over,
places, yeah.
not just Louisville, Kentucky.
We'll have to start doing a roll call. We want you all here every week. So, when we first launched Switcher, one of the first posts that I published was about net neutrality. So that was at the end of 2014. I'll see if we can dig that one up and throw it in the comments. But that was one of the
or
first.
Whitney, if you can find that, Whitney.
Yeah.
Whitney, watch it from the comments.
It's a little different than how we're talking about things now because of the new proposal and some of the arguments that are coming to the table. But yeah, that was one of the first posts that we did on the Switcher Studio blog years ago, was about net neutrality, and it's unfortunately popped up again. So make sure you pick up the phone and check out that website and submit the form. Moving on to strategy, we recently had a post that Dan put together about spontaneous video production and always being ready, and I think it was titled "The Smallest Facebook Live Setup."
Yeah, that was kind of there's so many different options out there for how to stream live or whatnot, or different tripods and whatnot. So I wanted to see what the smallest setup I could make.
And clarification, like, you can go live at any point with your phone, like selfie cam, handheld, but
I'm just a stickler. I come from the production background, so I want my video to be steady, and I want good lighting and all this stuff. So yeah, it wasn't so much about how to go or be ready at any moment, but it's important to always have some gear with you if you are like that online personality and have a following. You might run into some awesome situation you want to stream. So I've got it here. I can show up to the screen, hopefully. Make sure that's in the shot. And this is really just two Joby. It's a little Joby table tripod and a little Joby clip. And this, if I take my phone out of it, will fold down to something that can very, very easily fit into your pocket. So it's barely anything. It takes just a few seconds to set up. So I really like this. And of course, we've talked about it before, and I'm going to talk about it again. The Lumi case, really, really nice for some quick, easy.
Well, it's got lights on front and back, right?
Lights. So if you want to do the selfie light, you can brighten it up too. And then there's the back one as well.
Again, we don't make money on this. No referral links.
We just love Lumi.
We like their stuff. But I think it is important to be able to just be ready at all times.
Yeah, so there's a good post on the website. You go to switcherstudio.com, hop on over to the blog, and you can see more about that setup that Dan just talked about. We wanted to jump into the user group. So this broadcast is on the Switcher Studio page.
Oh, before we do, something I keep trying to bring this up, right? I've mentioned it before we've gone live the past 2 weeks, something we did at VidCon that I thought was a good strategy that we should bring up. And that is, I don't have the graphic in here, Nick, so I'm going to have you talk about it maybe a little bit. Talk about the when we went to a break, how we did that with the overlay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
So when we were at VidCon, we had interviews scheduled from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. every day. It was a really tight schedule. It was 10 or 15 minute increments, cool. And as soon as someone was out, we brought someone else in. But because it was live, there's also a level of unexpected things that can happen, and we weren't sure if some interviews would run over or run short, if there would be any breaks or lulls during the broadcast. So we wanted to have something on screen if people were just tuning in that they might stick around a little bit longer for that next broadcast.
I've got the graphic here. I can bring
cool.
up,
You got it.
Yeah.
Or if they were tuned in and we had a little bit of a break, that we could still be live without having to end the broadcast and start a new stream. So we built a graphic that was in 16:9 ratio. It was a black background that we then lowered the opacity on, so it was transparent or kind of see-through. We normally do about a 65 to 70% transparency on this. And then we put text on screen with information about the program. So it was our logo and our partner for that particular broadcast with LiveU, and some information about the show and kind of letting people know that we'll be back. But it allowed us to throw to this graphic and still have video and activity in the background, where it wasn't just a static image. It was kind of a combination of information and just what's happening.
Yeah, it was almost the behind the scenes. So I've got the wide shot right now where you kind of do see the behind the scenes, and what we would do is we just put that logo up right there, and you'd see people know we're coming back. We're not done yet. And they can kind of watch the transition, see how things work behind the scenes, which I thought was kind of cool.
So if you want to build graphics like this, you could use something like Photoshop. There's a tool called Pixlr you can get online. There's another one called Canva. They're graphics builders, and you can prep these assets ahead of time. As long as you save them on your camera roll, they'll be available in Switcher. You can also move those over with Google Drive and Dropbox. There's some information in the knowledge base on how to do that there. But yeah, it's kind of a cool little trick that we actually learned from our users. I think Kevin, Jack over at WeStream, those guys were doing it, and there's some other people in the user group that had kind of used this tactic, and so that was one that we borrowed from you guys and gals out there.
So speaking of the user group,
this is a more natural segue. Yeah. So moving into the user group, this stream is on our official Switcher Studio page. It's out there for anyone that follows Switcher or might be new to the product and wants to learn more. People that are actively using Switcher can join the Switcher Studio user group. There's probably some people in there that are trying things out as well, but it's become a really good resource to post questions, get feedback from other people that are using the product. Our team is really active in that space, so we're able to jump in and help out from time to time as well. People are sharing examples of content that they're doing. And this is kind of a topic that we like to have a conversation around every week, is things that we've seen in the user group or conversations that have happened. One that is recently come to light are people wanting to show pre-recorded videos or other content in their streams, and pulling it from sources like Vimeo or YouTube. This is absolutely possible because of the video insertion capabilities of Switcher, but it also brings up some ethical questions. And the point that we would like to make is, if you are using video, pre-recorded video, in your broadcasts, you need to make sure you have the rights or permission to use that content. Just pulling a video off of YouTube and throwing it in your stream and just letting that be it is
probably not the best.
Legally not okay. So we have seen customers that will pull things from websites or videos that have gone viral and have a conversation around it and react to it, and there are some arguments for fair use in those cases. If you're doing something for education or training and there's an example or another video that's out there that you're having a dialogue and a conversation around, that's a little more kosher. But if you're just lifting a video that isn't yours, that you didn't shoot, that's on another company or brand's page that someone else put a lot of effort into, and playing it on your stream as though it's your own, you could be at risk of getting in trouble.
And that's especially true for platforms where you might have monetization on your channel, like YouTube or Twitch.
Right.
I know Facebook is starting to put in some monetization things, so especially if you're lifting another video and just playing it on your stream and profiting off that stream, then that opens another can of worms with legality, where they can request your video be shut down, they can ask for compensation for what you made for it. So definitely ask anyway, but especially if you do have one of those partnerships with another company, make sure you extremely ask for permission and put it in the description, use with permission from X group or X person.
Yeah. And there are websites where you can put in URLs for videos and download them from YouTube and other sites. Those websites come and go a lot of times because of the legality around this particular topic. However, if there's a video that you have produced that's on your YouTube channel, you can log into your YouTube account and download those videos. Same for Facebook. You can go into a video on your Facebook page and go into the advanced settings and get a downloadable version of that you can save to your device to include. We have shown examples of customer videos in some of our broadcasts. There's one that we're going to be bringing up here in the next segment. When we do this, we typically try to reach out to that individual and ask permission first to make sure that they're aware of it. Tag them in the video in the description. Make sure you give them credit. Also consider doing things on screen that make it clear that it is a recorded clip, or to show attribution. These are just things that you can do to cover your basis and be more ethical about how you use other content. An example that I wanted Dan to bring up while we're talking about this, Clearwater Aquarium, they've been using Switcher a lot to brand their content, put their logo on screen. They recently did a release for a sea turtle, I think Winter was the name, and they have a disclaimer that they showed at the end of their video where they're working with Fish and Wildlife, and because sea turtles are a protected species, there's certain legalities around being close to them and touching. Also, from time to time, they'll show pre-recorded video or photos, and so just as a general disclaimer, they've started putting a graphic at the end of their broadcast that makes it clear that they have the rights to do this and permission from Fish and Wildlife to do so. So maybe consider doing something similar based, it could be different or unique based on the type of content that you're showing. Just be careful, be thoughtful, ask for permission, and this kind of goes back to the conversation we had last week about copyright for pre-recorded music. You can use other content under fair use, and you can have a dialogue around it. You can do reaction videos. You can use it for education. But if you're lifting someone else's video and using it as your own, if you're playing copyrighted music. Those are things that can raise a red flag. And if you get very many ticks on that, at some point you could be banned or blacklisted on some of these platforms like Facebook and YouTube. So just a heads up that it is possible to use other video in your broadcast, but get permission and try to use content that is your own. Record B-roll, do other pieces that you can use to supplement your content, do an interview with a customer. Those type of things are going to be a lot safer and more controllable, and it helps tell your story because it's yours. So just something to take into consideration, and we'll have more information on this topic going up on the website here soon.
And one other bonus of, just asking permission beforehand, whether it's a video or music or anything like that, we've even had some users comment that they've downloaded video, whether it's theirs or someone else's, and the quality is lowered. With the sites that you can, download video with, you're going to lose some of that video quality, you're going to lose some of that audio quality. Depending on the site, you could lose a lot of it, where a 1080p video can turn into 360p video. And the good thing is, if you ask permission in advance, a lot of content creators will save their products on like an external hard drive or something.
Dropbox or...
Yeah, so there's been cases, for our conferences where I've reached out to someone who's made a video with Switcher, and instead of having to, basically rip the file from online, they've been able to send me the full version of it with Dropbox, so that way we have that high quality broadcast to use. So, reaching out to someone, not only does it cover your bases, but a lot of times you can actually get a better version of that file, which is going to look better on your quality.
And real quick, Brendan says hi from sunny London. He also brings up a good point and says, I always ask people who do it or think about doing it, how would you feel if it was your content being ripped off? So yeah, that's a great point. Of course you're not going to want your stuff being shown up somewhere else and maybe someone's making money off that. That's not going to feel good.
Yeah, so use content that is your own. If you're doing broadcasts or video on a regular basis, be thinking about opportunities to shoot B-roll, to do interviews, to produce other supplementary content. Brittlestar was at Disney recently, and they shot video on rides they were able to use in their following broadcast. They had challenges that they had from their viewers and recorded little bursts that they were able to supplement. So it was something that they were thoughtful about and planned ahead and created content that they could use during their broadcast. So that's probably a better way to go about doing it, but you can use other content. Just make sure you get permission first and that the original creator knows about it and that you show attribution. If you're doing something for education or commenting or reaction videos, there's a little bit of wiggle room under fair use, but that gets a little harder. Another way that you can play back video is via screen sharing. So Switcher has a application for your MacBook that allows the entire screen to show up as a camera. If you're playing a video, then I think there's some of our users that are using this method to bring in content. It doesn't have to be saved on your iPhone or iPad, but if you do screen sharing, it's only the video feed. Audio has to come through the main iPhone or iPad. So in some ways, that's maybe a little safer bet to show something that's on YouTube, make it clear that it's on YouTube, show that person's channel, have a conversation around it, show a snippet of the video and not the entire piece. That's a technical capability of Switcher that might allow you to use other content and do it in a safe way. So want to use that to move into our next segment. We also want to showcase content made with Switcher and things that people are sharing in the user group or emailing us and letting us know about. So we've got a cool example we're going to throw up, a video made with Switcher. This is from Joel Comm. Joel Comm is he's at the forefront of live video, and he's used a lot of the different platforms and technology out there. He's done reviews on a lot of different products. He writes for Inc. magazine and some other online publications, and he recently did an unboxing video using Switcher Studio. So he was sent one of the new Android phones, got a super awesome camera, and he had set up a couple iPhones and iPads with the Archon table mounts and broadcast this unboxing live in real time on Facebook. Was switching between angles. He was doing picture in picture, where he would show the phone and the camera of himself like talking about it. And it was a really good use of Switcher. And we've seen a handful of unboxing videos before. This is a really big segment in the YouTube space where people do unboxings around particular products or categories. We haven't seen a lot of it with Switcher and would love to see more. So this was a really cool example. Wanted to give a shout out to Joel. Thanks for using Switcher and giving us a great example of what's possible with these unboxing videos, and a good way to show off multi-camera. And it's a format that is big on YouTube, as we mentioned, and kind of cool to see it over on Facebook now too.
Yeah, can I be honest? When I was ripping this video down,
No,
it's good, I promise. I was just gonna snip out a little bit to start, and I ended up watching the whole video because it was pretty interesting. So,
also, we did contact Joel ahead of
Yes.
time. We reached out on Facebook Messenger and had a link to the video, asked if it'd be cool for us to give it some love and share it on this broadcast. So we did ask permission, and thank you, Joel, for giving us permission. Also, for users that are thinking about using other content, see if you can get a hold of the creator. That's the big takeaway here. If you're using other content, make sure you have permission and that you give attribution. So for Joel, if you want to see more about what he's doing, he has a group on Facebook that's Live Video Mastermind, and you can also look for Joel Comm on Facebook, or just Google the guy. He's doing a lot of really cool stuff, and you can see more there. Last thing we wanted to close on here, when we were at VidCon, we had help from Chase Crawford and Joel that hosted our show. So he kind of handed over the keys to the Switcher Studio stream for a couple days at VidCon. They lined up interviews with probably 30 plus creators.
A lot of different creators.
And talked about their process and how they got in the video and what they're doing now. And we kind of just let Chase and Joel run with it and figure out Switcher on the fly. And if you watch some of the streams at the beginning of the show and those at the end, you can kind of see the evolution of where they're getting more comfortable with it and doing more camera cuts and adding more videos. So there's a playlist on our YouTube channel for Switcher Studio where you can see that. But a really cool takeaway from this is Chase and Joel were using Switcher. They were hanging out with their friends, and they've had this idea for a new show that they want to launch called Live from the Middle of Nowhere. It's kind of a comedy program that they're going to be doing on Facebook. And today is their first show. It starts at 3 p.m. Eastern.
So right after this.
The Facebook show is Live from the Middle of Nowhere. So if you like what you saw from Chase and Joel, go check them out. Check them out regardless, and give them some love, give them some views. We were super happy to have them come out for VidCon. It was a lot of fun hanging out, and really happy with the connections that we got to make with other creators. So Live from the Middle of Nowhere starts at 3 p.m. and you can just search it on Facebook. Check it out.
Yeah, you guys will have about 20 minutes between the end of our broadcast and the start of theirs if you want to check it out. So just enough time to grab a drink, grab popcorn, sit down. And as comical as they were on our show, I can't wait to see what they do on their own show.
I'm looking forward to seeing.
Another one that's already out there we like a lot is Brittle Star. They're doing a morning show. I think it's around 9 a.m. Eastern that we see that 9. One pop up. So they're able to hit a couple different time zones with that start time. But yeah, if there are other people in the user group that are doing a regular show or program, jump in the comments, send us a link. We'd love to learn more. Hot Rock, we've seen your stuff and you're using the product really well, and happy to have you in the user group helping other people out. I do want to address some things in the user group, but we're going to do a separate broadcast in that space for everybody there, just to make sure that we're using it together so we can build the community and help each other out. There's been some links that have popped up that probably aren't super safe websites for people to go to just because of other pop-ups and things coming on, and some videos shared that they don't have as much context as we would typically like to see. But we're going to address that separately in the user group. Love what you all are doing. Keep asking questions. Keep sharing your videos. Just want to make sure we make it a good place for everybody. For those of you that are watching this video for the first time or want to learn more about Switcher, you can join the user group at Switcher Studio Enthusiasts on Facebook. There is a short survey that we ask you to fill out before you get in. It just helps us learn a little bit more about what you're doing and how you're using the product and how we can continue to improve. So I guess that's our sign off.
You want to do a few questions or?
Oh yeah. We can keep going.
Answer.
How we doing on Tom?
We're at 2:40. We can go a little bit longer.
Okay.
Good
deal.
Yeah. Quick few questions. Brian asked. Let me put this shot up so it doesn't look like you guys are staring off into nothing. Yeah, Brian asked, do you guys know if there's a way to have a permanent RTMP stream key for Facebook? Don't think so.
Yeah, for Facebook, I don't think so.
So,
yet.
Something to note, I know there's the stream key and there's the URL. One of those two doesn't change. I think it's the stream key doesn't change.
The URL is the same.
URL is the same. All right, the other way.
So
however,
let's dial back a minute for just people that might not be familiar with this process. In Facebook, there is a Facebook Easy button. You can link your Facebook account. You can create streams inside of the app. You never have to leave Switcher or go to the Facebook page. And you can stream to pages, groups, timelines, events. If you want to schedule a broadcast, you have to do that through Facebook's publishing tools. So you would go to your computer, log into the Facebook page, and from your publishing tools, you can schedule that broadcast. You can say, we want to go live Thursday at 7 o'clock. Everything that we do in Facebook for live video is event-based. So you're creating a new event, a new stream that's a standalone video for each individual broadcast. And because of that, each time you create an event, it has its own stream key associated with it. So we'll dig a little deeper. There might be a workaround or a place in Facebook's publishing tools that we've missed, but typically that event creation process or scheduling streams is going to generate a new RTMP stream key and stream URL for each broadcast. Now, Dan, if you want to talk about the dashboard.
Yeah, I was going to put that up there for a sec, but
cool.
I realized that all of my stream values would be in there, and I don't want to show that. But if you are using Switcher Studio, go to switcherstudio.com. In the upper right is a login button, and then from there you can create all those streams. You can create those channels that are going to show up.
Do you want to do a live walkthrough? If you just create a new event, I think we can show where that's at.
Okay.
So then it'll come up blank without.
Okay. Hold
so
on.
we'll keep talking here while Dan's clicking
keep
around.
Let me go.
But just to recap, when you go to Facebook Publishing Tools, you log into the Facebook site and you schedule a broadcast, it gives you two values. There's a URL and there's a stream key. And the stream key is really long. It's a bunch of uppercase and lowercase numbers and letters. Numbers aren't uppercase and lowercase. But it can be hard to type that in on an iPhone or an iPad. And sometimes you can copy and paste and it tries to autocorrect for spelling. It's just not always a good experience trying to do that all from your mobile device. But if you're on your computer and you log into switcherstudio.com, from your dashboard, you can go to channel settings, and I'll throw it to you now, Dan. Yeah. And it's easy to copy and paste this information and create events on the Switcher dashboard, and all of this information will show up inside of the app. So it takes out some steps that allows you to do the whole setup and planning from your computer, and it's really easy to select that event inside of Switcher without having to bounce back and forth.
Yeah, so it really is quite simple. Like Nick said, under the channel settings, after you log in, it's right up here where you see log out. It'll say log in when you go to switcherstudio.com. And from there, you'll see all of my channels I already have. So the Stream Squad Live, afternoon, morning right here, these are the ones we did for VidCon. And then I have my Periscope producer. That one always does say the same. And then, as you can see right here, Stream Squad Wednesday broadcast, that's today's. And I can just tap on Add Channel here, give it a new name, put in my server URL and stream key. So, yeah, you have to do it every time, but it might be a little bit better than, typing it all into an iPad or something. We also have a speed test. If you're not sure about these settings on how you want your video to look, you can just tap the speed test button. It's going to do it for you. Quick note,
there's been some browser compatibility stuff with the speed test, so
okay.
It should work for most users, but there are some edge cases where it's not doing what it's supposed to. So,
But yeah, afterwards, I can't really get to the outputs here since we are streaming right now, but it'll show up right there under the custom RTMP for you. So, yeah, something to do or something to make things a little bit easier.
And if there is a way to get a permanent URL, we don't know about it right now, but we'll look into that a little deeper and see if we can get some more info on that.
Right. Few other questions really quick. Paul asks, any news from DJI on their software updates to fix the Osmo issues?
Okay, so DJI Osmo, DJI makes drones, but they also have a handheld gimbal that you can put your iPhone or iPad on to get steady shots. We have an integration with that product where you can mount it on a tripod or set it on a table and remotely control it. So it's a PTZ, a pan tilt zoom controller for your iPhone or iPad. There is a known bug or issue with the DJI where after long periods of time you lose control or it gets really jittery when you go to move it. We've isolated the issue to a memory leak in the DJI SDK. We've been able to reliably reproduce the issue. We are in contact with DJI and their engineers and have had some emails back and forth. We're waiting on an update from them. And once we have that patch, we can push out a switcher update that should fix the issue. But we have found the problem. We are in contact with them. We're just kind of stuck on their timeline for when they get back with us on that.
Today I was updating the apps on my iPad, and there was an update for the Osmo Mobile, their app. So maybe they're working on it. We can hope.
DJI has had an SDK update recently. It doesn't include a fix for this one, but we've got some communication where they have some things they're going to try, and hopefully we can get this one fixed. So sorry for those of you out there that aren't getting the results that you would like with the DJI. We are working to get that resolved and talking to the folks over there so we can push out a fix for you all.
And one last question. Mike asks, so is Nick going to start wearing shorts?
I mean, I've worn shorts. It's hot here today.
Yeah, it's getting up to like 96, I think.
So maybe we'll go hang out at the waterfront one day. We should switch things up.
Yeah.
This is one of the things we've talked about. Is Switcher is a mobile solution. We've got the over-the-shoulder shot here, and this is a little bit on the higher end of a Switcher setup. We've got lights and microphones, and everything's plugged into batteries for charge cables. All you need is an iPhone or iPad to go live with Switcher. We've even got the free Switcher Go app. We're probably going to break out the show, get out of our comfort zone. We're in the office a lot, and there's some cool places here around town. So,
or at the very least, we'll just do it in the enthusiast group. Test it out there first.
Yeah, and we do go a little more casual from time to time, but I don't know. Yeah, that's a fun one. We might switch it up. I have really, really white legs, so just a heads up, it might throw off the white balance.
Yeah, we might have to re-white balance then. But yeah, that's I think all the time we've got for today.
Yeah, if you Chase Crawford and their show, he's had a couple posts recently. He likes to call himself translucent. So just a reminder, live from the middle of nowhere, 3 p.m. Check them out on Facebook, and we'll see if we can throw a link in the comments. But thanks for tuning in.
I'm looking forward to it. I don't know what it's going to be. I honestly have no idea. I honestly had no idea when we were going into VidCon what they were going to do, but nothing caught fire when we were there, so that was good.
I mean, just with VidCon, the more and more comfortable they got, the more and more crazy, but in a good way it got. So I'm super excited.
Maybe we'll get a pair of Joel's shorts for Nick.
Ooh.
Oh, we need Joel's shorts.
No. I think this comment makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, I won't be doing that. But if you want to see it, just one more plug, live from the middle of nowhere. Really like those guys, and we're happy to have them out for VidCon. Check out the user group, Switcher Studio Enthusiasts. There is a short survey to get in there. We're going to be doing a separate broadcast, just a kind of general update on where things are at in the group and making it a good space for everybody. Keep the questions coming. Keep sharing your broadcasts, pictures of your Switcher shirts. It's a lot of fun. So that's it for today. Until next time, we'll see ya.
Guys.
Take care, everyone.